A dramatist and poet by the name of Percy Mackay said it. Said it way back in 1909 in a remarkable bit of prophecy. There is participation. There is creative expression. There is neighborly ritual. A scant 3 years later, in 1912, the American Little Theatre movement was born in Maurice Brown's Chicago Little Theatre. With the passing of the years, that fledgling impulse to restore the living stage to its proper place within the average man's experience has struggled and flowered and prospered beyond Mackay's and Brown's wildest imaginings. A theater has always been as vital and alive as the people who make it, whether it be housed in Shakespeare's Globe Theater, in the glittering street called Broadway, or in the gymnasium of an elementary school building, such as we are visiting here. This, then, is one American Little Theater in the typically Midwestern community of Lincolnwood, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. Here is a first-night audience, applauding as its little theater, now in its 9th season, rings down the curtain on its 22nd production. Here, as in thousands of other communities, the Little Theater is an affair of the heart, where friends and neighbors gather to entertain and to be entertained. For the stranger in a new community, it is often an avenue to new friends and new interests, as we shall presently see in the case of Bill here and Mary, who have just come to Lincolnwood to put down roots. The Little Theater offers to every member of the community an open invitation to contribute his own particular talents and skills in his own particular way to the fascinating business of putting a show on the boards. Lincolnwood is a relatively new community with a population of 10,000. Not so old and experienced as New Orleans or Omaha or Des Moines, with their prospering community theaters, not so large and affluent as Pasadena with its million-dollar playhouse. This particular little theater, a nonprofit corporation, started small. It looks forward to the day when, like Omaha and Pasadena, it will have its own playhouse instead of its present inadequate quarters in the school gymnasium. The theater grows and prospers and extends its influence in the community year by year because of what it can mean to people like Mary and Bill, who are typical patrons. Bill works in Chicago. It is morning now, and as he leaves for the office, Mary turns to her own private world of home and the children. Like many of those who have attended the Little Theatre's performances, Mary has yielded to a fascinating temptation to learn more about this community organization and what it can offer her. Here, with the typical shyness of the newcomer, she hunts out the theater's quarters in a rented basement area of the school. Gathering her courage, she introduces herself to the production manager. It isn't easy at first. But this initial bit of stage fright soon disappears. And Mary learns that a little theater is a very friendly place. The question of how an organization such as this operates is a little too complicated to answer in one breath, but we can try. One of the most important jobs outlined on this play production chart, indeed the very first job that must be done, is that of choosing a play. The selection of a suitable play from among the literally hundreds of scripts available for community use calls for discrimination, good taste, and a knowledge of the theater's skills. The play reading committee must choose a play that is within the scope of its own technical capacities, one that is soundly built and has a reasonable chance of pleasing the people who come to see it. And since the directors for most community theaters are from the professional stage, the committee must keep in mind the director's wishes and special abilities. The script that is finally chosen must fit in with the manpower potential of the organization. Some of the other phases of production activity are underway right now. The director is conferring with the set designer on the scenery sketches for the upcoming show. The theater offers unlimited possibilities to the artist with imagination. Artists of another kind also have free rein. And of course, there can be no play without actors. This community theater, like most others, holds open auditions to which everyone is welcome. This is the big night for aspiring actors, the night of tryouts. An air of hushed expectancy and high hope pervades the room as actor after actor reads in competition for the parts, stage-struck Mary among them. Others wait patiently for their turn and follow the script and every reaction of the director for a sign of how the wind is blowing. She is a secretary, hoping to gain through stage experience the poise necessary for a modeling career. He is a doctor who finds the anatomy of a play as complicated and as fascinating as anything he ever studied in medical schools. He's a businessman who wants to be an actor and hopes that his community theater will be a stepping stone to a stage career. Here is the director, a television producer immersed in the commercial complexities of his workaday world. He finds in the community theater the free atmosphere in which he can express himself creatively. A little free advice can't hurt a tryout, and often helps the nervous newcomer over a bad moment. Then, one fine routine day, Mary answers the phone and discovers the magical meaning of that old theatrical bromide. Don't call us, we'll call you. With the casting completed, the various production crews swing into action. The property committee makes the rounds, gathering stage furnishings from the homes of theater members and neighbors. Sometimes they are treasured possessions, and the owner makes it quite clear. For the publicity staff, there are dozens of jobs to be done, such as placing posters in strategic locations and winning friendly arguments with community merchants. Mr. Hardware Man, you haven't the heart to say no to her. A theater without its own playhouse sometimes has its problems and must wait its turn until rehearsal space is available. As the rehearsal period continues, the set builders and other stage technicians, the behind-the-scenes workers who make the show go on, start their work. We try to be neat, but, oh well. Ordinary fellows, and sometimes extraordinary ones, turn out to be experts in stage lighting. The designer's stage setting now gets its final okay from the director. While the business of set building is a necessary requisite, every play must also have an audience, and the acquiring of that audience is the job of the theater's business staff, which is going over its final plans at a meeting in a kindergarten room. They come up with a myriad answers to the jobs at hand: the program advertising, the sale of tickets, ushering, the management of the multitude of costs that go into a play's production. The cost of a little theater play, including royalties and a paid director, may run to $1,000 or more. If there's any profit, it goes into expansion of equipment and facilities. Yes, they come up with myriad answers and with a backache now and then. The publicity staff has a job to do in keeping the local papers supplied with news about the forthcoming production. In the early rehearsal stages, the director will sometimes call small units of the cast together for an informal session, often in the home of one of the actors. Tonight, they are meeting in Mary's home for a line reading in which the principals can get a feel for the play. Sometimes, even this kind of rehearsal has an audience. Bill just happens to have a shop of his own in his basement. And the first thing he sees as he sits down here is a model of the set for the new play. Maybe this is all she'll need to bring him into the theater circle. It's happened before. And now the director wants to get back to rehearsal. So the long process of putting a show together continues. The dream is taking shape.
I can't do it, can I?
Doesn't it seem strange for you to ask me that?
You're my wife.
Frank, we've been through all of this before, many times before. I'm tired.
What happened? Where did I get so bollocksed up? I was the best young leading man in this business. Not a slouch.
Scripts didn't come.
I knew it then, on the coast. I lost my nerve. And then when we lost the money in '39, after those lousy Federal Theater jobs, this is the face that once turned down radio work. Whatever I did, I don't know what. But I'm good. I'm still good, baby, because I see what they think is good. Don't you think I'm good? I think I'm good.
Then take the part. Make it your own responsibility. Take the part.
Look, son, I think we ought to
Don't
forget
call
about
me
it.
son. Man, you play bigger parts. You used to be a star.
Yeah. I used to drink a glass of money for breakfast, too.
What is the matter with you?
You don't listen, Mr. Dodd. Don't you see? He's afraid to take the responsibility.
But I'm willing to take a chance. Frank, the gamble is all on my side.
Why kid around? They open in Boston on the 28th. I couldn't even learn the lines in that time. That part needs a Bennett or a blend.
Bad enough to go to Hollywood to cast. Now you suggest I go to heaven. Listen to me, Frank. You don't know me. But I was just a kid when I saw you give 2 great performances in a couple of mediocre plays. Proud People and Werba's Millions. Well, I can get the same performance out of you right now. I have more confidence in you than you have in yourself.
Why?
Bernie,
Yeah?
on your next line, cross over to her. Explain it to her, okay?
Okay, fine.
We'll take it from there.
All right. Because I saw him as a kid. That's right, I used to be a hat check boy in the Schubert theaters. You, Lunt, Walter Houston used to be my heroes. I know everything you've done.
Hear that, Georgie?
Naturally, Mr. Dodd, you exaggerate the sentiment to make your point.
One moment. Tell Frank he has nothing to worry about.
What?
Well, he thinks you may go drastic. It's happened before, I understand.
Bernie!
What's happened before?
Phony suicide attempts.
Bernie, she wants to help.
Mr. Dodd, we had a town idiot when I was a child. He kept insisting that elephant tusks come from piano keys. You're very willful and obtuse for a man who so relishes his own humanity.
What are you talking about?
Hold it.
Yeah?
Bernie, on that line in the next bit about phony suicide attempts, walk over to Frank. Grab his wrists. Okay?
Fine, Swell.
Good. We'll pick it up from there.
Bernie, she has to pack.
Suicide attempts are Frank's department.
Show me your wrist, Frank. Show me your wrists. I asked you to show me your wrists.
On stage tonight, there is a new sense of urgency and skilled performance of technical tasks as stage and lighting crews prepare for action. The stage hands bring in the props from the wings, drilling intensively, working against the clock in their task of setting the stage with precision. It's the important night of dress rehearsal. Some of the jobs backstage have their duller moments.
What happened out there? What happened?
He began hitting me, Bernie, on stage. I can't bear it. I don't even know what he's doing out there. He's even changed the line.
Wyatt, will you? This is opening night. Ralph, go on with your job and close the door.
His eyes are all red, and he looks at you, and he doesn't even see you. I started to cry, and he shook me like I was a doll.
Come on now, he didn't hurt you that much. That's the scene.
To shake me and slap me like that, he changed the line. I didn't even know what to answer.
Don't raise your voice. That curtain is up.
Are you all right, dear? Oh, I'm all right, Mrs. Elgin. I'm all right.
Now stop sulking, Junior Miss, and go out there and change for your last act.
Yes, Bernie, I will. It was just such a shock, Mrs. Elgin. We understand, dear.
I hope it's the biggest shock you ever get. Come here.
Me?
Come here. Now go up and change.
Yes, I will, Bernie. Gee.
As the rehearsal rolls on, the backstage workers and others who have nursed the show through 6 long weeks of preparation watch proudly and with some apprehension as the director polishes for perfection. Until at last, the big night is here, and the community theater opens its doors for its hometown first-nighters. Neighbor meets neighbor again and settles down for another evening of shared excitement. While backstage, there is an electric atmosphere of tension as curtain time nears. Places, please, places. The stage manager commands his company. A final touch while he reels off the lines he dare not forget. A last-minute struggle with a recalcitrant button. Props being checked and rechecked for the final time. House lights down. This is the moment she has waited for. This is it. Curtain. And we are on stage tonight.